What's up, guys and girls? The horn theory is something I love to talk about. There are so many possibilities who could have blown it, all who I covered on this channel. But with the most recent God of War Ragnarok trailer, I've gotten so much requests to cover it again. So in this video, that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. So did Angrboda blow the horn? Or however you pronounce her name. Please don't get mad at me.
Angrboda.
Before we get into it, I do not want to see these comments in the comment section, so let's just get these out of the way. No, Cory Barlog did not blow the horn. Eric Williams did not blow the horn. Your mom did not blow the horn. A lot of people like to comment that. Atreus from the future. Okay, if she didn't blow the horn, definitely Atreus from the future blew the horn.
No!
So let's discuss the possibility that it was her, and at the end, you can form your own opinion. Now, there are 3 criteria I made up when talking about who blew the horn, which I created a long time ago. The first one is the person has to know the serpent's language. This is obviously very, well, obvious. 2, it can't be a friend of the Aesir. When Mimir accidentally told the serpent that we were Odin's friends, the serpent was literally about to attack us. So anyone who sides with the Aesir is an enemy. And the third and final one, whoever blew the horn must have known that Kratos and Atreus was not going to be in the area, because once Atreus got sick, that's when they decided to appear and blow the horn. So, does she actually fit this description? Well, let's go through it. First, does she know the serpent's language? Well, we learned throughout God of War 2018 that the serpent's language is very ancient and isn't used anymore. However, Angrboda, at least a future version of her, taught the serpent the language to begin with. Looking at the very first shrine that's available, her name is here, and she's nurturing the serpent. We can assume that she also taught it how to speak. So assuming another version of her knew the language to teach the serpent, most likely this version of her knows how to speak it as well. Is she a friend of the gods? This is an obvious no, since, her entire race was almost completely destroyed by Odin and Thor, so of course she's not an ally of the Aesir. And finally, whoever blew it must have known Kratos and Atreus wasn't around, so is there a way that maybe she knew that they weren't going to be there and took this opportunity to present herself to the serpent and do whatever that she needs to do? Well, this is kind of a tough one. I explained in a past video that if you look at her portrait, comparing to the other portraits that Sony Santa Monica actually released, she actually has Jotunheim in the background. However, this is not the Jotunheim that we went to in God of War 2018, but another version of Jotunheim, perhaps one that existed way in the past before it became the version that we actually went to. So she could have been around for a long time, and maybe she has the gift of foresight like many giants do. If Atreus had the ability to get foresight from his mother, Faye, then who's to say that she couldn't get foresight from her parents and actually knew that Atreus and Kratos was not going to be in the area for a long time and talk to the serpent, which is actually very possible. Also, she knows something that we clearly don't. Her dialogue in the trailer really indicates this.
You'll get your answers soon enough. Well, some of them.
So, I think that she has some other objective, a reason why she didn't show herself to us. So this is the theory section of this video. I'm going to try to attempt to make a theory as to why she would have blown the horn. Now, the first thing that comes to mind is, of course, Loki's monster children are all here. You have Jormungandr, you have Fenrir, who is also in this world. Skull and Hati are already chasing the moon. Odin's 8-legged horse is here. All these monster children that are supposed to come from Loki, they are already in this world. Now, the only logical explanation, like Jormungandr, the other monster children must have all come from the future somehow, some way. Cory Barlog did say that time may play a big role in its setting up for things to come in the next game.
Time moves differently in places. I want to dive deep into that, but I don't know if that's setting up things to come or...
Yes, it is.
That's what I figured.
Yeah. There's a bunch of stuff in the World Serpent talks. You have to rely on Mimir.
Yeah.
Is giving you all the information. And he totally doesn't.
Yeah,
So
he says as much.
yeah, there is.
We also know that Mimir is hiding things from us. He might have some information that he just doesn't want to tell us yet, perhaps because it will screw things over. Mimir doesn't tell us anything, and it's not like Kratos and Atreus can ask the serpent, because at the time anyways, they didn't know the serpent's language. Even though Atreus did show knowledge at the end, that was probably just a brief moment. However, Boda herself might actually know the serpent's language like I talked about earlier in this video, and she doesn't need Mimir to talk to the serpent. So perhaps she's talking to the serpent to get any pieces of information that she can about what's to come. We did learn in the trailer that we do have questions that she is simply not answering.
You'll get your answers soon enough. Well, some of them.
So perhaps for the same reason Mimir is not telling us information, maybe if he tells us something he'll screw things up, I think Boda is doing the same exact thing. She's not going to be telling us things yet because there are things that need to play out in this timeline. Perhaps Boda wanted information from the serpent, and that's why she called the horn. I do believe she has a foresight ability, so Kratos and Atreus would not be in the area when she goes to ask the serpent what is going to happen. Maybe there's an event that's happening that's so big that we just can't figure out those answers yet, that once that moment comes, that's when we'll know what the big secret is between Mimir, the serpent, and Boda. Why are we out of the loop? And I think of course the serpent is going to tell her anything that she wants to know, because remember, there is a shrine that I showed earlier in the video with Boda's name on it, literally nurturing the serpent. The serpent did recognize Atreus, saying that he looks familiar, probably because in his timeline Loki is much older when the serpent actually was born. And surprise, surprise, in God of War Ragnarok, Atreus does have a somewhat different appearance. Perhaps everything now is starting to come full circle. Certain events need to happen. Boda wants to know what these events are, the serpent probably tells her, and now that she knows, when we meet up with her, she's not telling us this information either. The director did say that this will be the end of the Norse saga, that this game is going to completely end everything that we're doing here in this land. So everything is bound to come full circle, and everything is bound to end, and all the secrets are going to be revealed. And I do think that Boda is going to play an essential part in this big secret. What's the secret? Maybe it's Tyr dying, and then Loki, I don't know, has some mystic energy that changes everything. We do know that Loki is somewhat attached to the weather. This was confirmed by Corey Barlog. When Loki was in near-death state, the world just kind of got fucked over. There's so much that's going on here. Perhaps Loki's, one of his god abilities, is going to really manifest itself, and everything is going to play out that will eventually lead to the end of the Norse world, with Ragnarok coming. But what do you all think? Why would Boda talk to the serpent? What is her reasoning? I gave mine, and I would love to read yours. I'm gonna be out of here. Thank you guys and girls for listening. Deuces.